So after 2 weeks of amazing top tier athletes competing for the bragging rights and the respect of their country, the 2024 Olympics are over. And I will say, man, that these Olympics were lit. They were lit. They were litty. I was a big fan of the Olympics. Me and my wife, we watched a lot of the competitions. And it's one of those things where I feel like this particular Olympics was like almost a powder keg of energy that exploded because we were so pent up. No, and I'm not knocking Japan or anything like that, but the last Olympics were mid. They were pretty mid. Not a lot of smoke and drama. Not a lot going on with the last Olympics. And to be fair, they had to deal with COVID, right? So they got delayed a whole ass year, and then they had to like basically follow all these rules. You know, Japan is actually super COVID minded, so the Olympics reflected that. And I think that when it came to those Olympics, we didn't want to see all that shit, man. We just didn't want to see all that because we were over COVID at that point. We just wanted to see dope athletes do dope things. And I'm not saying that the last Olympics didn't have that, but it just wasn't presented in a way that felt like, oh, we're all over this shit, right? So flash forward to 2024, and these Olympics were lit, man. They were really, really good. We had some really cool competitions. We had world records broken. We had controversy. We had Snoop Dogg for some fucking reason and breaking. And I'll talk a lot about that here in a little bit. All kinds of really cool, interesting things that made the Olympics this really compelling narrative for us to cling onto. And honestly, I think one of the best things about the Olympics is the fact that even though the world is literally burning in front of our eyes right now, our election season's a mess. We got bombs dropping in countries all over the world, global warming, yada, yada, yada. All the problems that exist in the world. It's cool how the world can just kind of come together for a hot second, for a couple weeks, and just be like, yo, let's compete. I want to race you. I want to play basketball against your team. I want to do archery. I want to hold a gun and see if you're a better shooter than me. And then whoever's the best, we will give them a medal to take home to their country. Turns out that when you win a medal, by the way, for your country, depending on the country, you get a big old fatty fat bonus. Allegedly, and I might be having this information wrong, I want to say that it's China or some country in Asia gives gold medalists like $750,000 for winning a gold medal, which is amazing. I think that these athletes should be paid amazing amounts of money because it makes a sense to me because, you know, they're carrying the city or the country on their back. But what's funny about that is that I think America for a gold medal is like $30K. And most of the athletes that are competing in the Olympics make way, 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 way more than that. And so it's like kind of funny how America's like, oh, here's a little $30,000 for you guys to go to the Olympics. But I digress, a little digression there. I just like the fact that the Olympics really try to step it up. From the technological aspects, like some really cool technology with cameras and all kinds of stuff. All the athletes are amazing, incredible stories being told. For some reason, Snoop Dogg was just all over the Olympics. I didn't quite understand that. I mean, I rock with it. I like Snoop Dogg, but I don't understand why he was like the ambassador for America for the Olympics, especially with the ironic part of Sha'Carri Richardson, the previous Olympics, being denied her Olympic entry before smoking weed. But then in the next Olympics, you get Snoop Dogg, who is like weed embodied. So it's interesting how that played out. Sha'Carri Richardson got her first gold medal in the relay. She only got second in the 100 meter, which is fine. She brought home medals. And it's one of those things where I think that when it comes to the Olympics, we just need to appreciate them, man. I'll tell you what, because they've been around for hundreds of years. And from the lighting of the internal flame where they run the torch across the world to the torch, it's really cool stuff, man. And I just really hope that the younger kids, like the Gen X's and the Gen Alphas and all these people, really appreciate these Olympics while we still got them. Because I feel like, apocalyptically speaking, the Olympics is probably like the only thing where the world can just like kind of shut up and have some peace for a minute. And that's dope, man. Like, you could have people from different countries beefing in the same room because they got to do some backflips for a gold medal. And I think that's beautiful, man. I think it's beautiful. I think it's something that we really just need to appreciate. Young kids, I don't think young kids watch my content, but young kids, talking about you, I appreciate it. I'm 40. I love the Olympics. I think it's the dopest shit ever. With that said, there's plenty of drama and controversy, just enough for us to just salivate over, from the drag queens at the opening ceremony, to Noah Lyles barely winning by literally like an inch of his nose. What else went down? We also had RayGun. We're gonna talk about RayGun. I like RayGun. Okay, when it comes down, for those of you who don't know what I'm saying, RayGun, also known as Rachel Gunn, is a Australian breakdancer who has a PhD in breaking, which is incredible. Didn't know that was a thing that you could do in Australia. There's a lot to unpack from there, but she entered the Olympics. She won her slot fair and square to be in the Olympics. And by now, if you don't know, her performance was disastrous. It was disastrous. That's just the best way to put it, is disastrous. When I first saw this, like the very first time I saw this, I was embarrassed. I was like, damn, this is a very bad look for breakdancing. I don't know how this chick even got to this big of a platform, especially when you look at her competition, like the girl that she was competing against, who just washed her, dog. Like, it was crazy. Like how did this even happen? It felt like she was like randomly, like, there's always a joke saying like, oh, you should pick random people to send to the Olympics and see what happens. I almost feel like that's what happened with her. But then, of course, the internet did what the internet does and started hating and being like, oh, But then as like the story started like develop, and I started like look into it and see that this person actually like really, really gives a fuck about hip hop. She really is into breaking. And if you watch some of her previous videos, she's actually not bad. Like, she's better than me. I don't break that much. I used to kind of do a little bit of b-boying, but like, she was better than me. And I think that what it comes down to is, someone mentioned this in my Facebook. They're saying that one of the missing things about hip hop that people don't talk about, one of the hidden elements, is the ability to just fight above your weight class and to make it work. Because hip hop in general, at least traditionally, is about rising above the struggle, rising above the poverty, keeping on with this despite whatever walls, adversaries, or whatever is in your way. You just push through that because you love it so much. And RayGun did that, man. You can tell that she really loves hip hop. She really loves breaking. She did that. And don't know how she got that far to get onto the Olympic stage like that, but she did that. You know what I'm saying? She put the whole continent of Australia on her back and did the fish flop and the temper tantrum, because that's what she does. That's like her vibe. You know what I'm saying? And like I said, when I first saw it, I was like, okay, this is corny as fuck. But then when I watched her interviews, and then I watched like what she's been doing after, like she's in the streets of France, like dancing and like showing off and stuff and just having a blast. It's like, that's the core of hip hop, man. It really is. Now, yeah, she's white. She's from Australia. She wasn't raised in the Bronx like Jenny from the block. You know what I'm saying? Like, she's just someone who just studied hip hop and really just fell in love with it and wanted to be immersed in it as much as possible. And I hope it inspires a lot of people too, because the story there is that, like, if you really want to do something, you can do it. And I rock with RayGun, man. She's also kind of cute. Like, she's 36 years old. She's doing her thing. I went to New Zealand for my honeymoon like a couple years back, and the people out there are just so dope, and they really love hip hop out there. Like, so it's not too surprising to see that she's in love with hip hop. It's just surprising that she was given the platform, the largest platform an athlete could have, literally, and she did what she did. But she got the conversation going, man, and that's like probably like one of the cooler things about it, was that she got the people talking about it and talking about things like cultural appropriation, and also talking about what does it mean to be hip hop, what is breaking, because keep in mind too that like breaking being in the Olympics is opening up this whole new world to a whole bunch of people who didn't even know that this shit existed around the world. Like, I don't know what the ratings are on the Olympics. I don't even know if they even do ratings, but I hundreds of millions of people watch the Olympics, guarantee, from all around the world. And and a lot of those people watched the breaking competition having no idea what was going on. And I guarantee that some hearts got set on fire during that competition. When I watched the very first male competition in breaking, my heart started to swell, man. I almost like shed a thug tear because it's crazy to see how far hip hop has got from motherfuckers breakdancing on cardboard in the streets of Brooklyn all the way to the Olympic stage. That is like one of the most beautiful things I've ever heard in my entire life. And I'm not going to let RayGun like mar that. In fact, I rock a RayGun, man. She did that for her country and for her continent. And I'm saying, like, it's lit. It's lit. And she'll continue to get hate, but if she plays that right, she can just pull a Haktua, right, and just make a bunch of money. She probably already is. She's probably already fielding deals. She's probably already got interviews. Like, RayGun's going to be all right. She's going to be just fine. And just from watching the footage and watching her interviews, she is on cloud 9. So she's doing all right. She's doing just fine. So that's like why I feel about that. And also I want to now, this is terrible. I fucked up my segue on that, but I was going to segue into the meme world about the Turkish shooter. And one of the things that I fell for when I first heard the story of the Turkish shooter was just that the fact that the story that was going around was that this dude basically became a shooter because he got into a fight with his wife, and that he ended up divorcing his wife, and that shooting was a way for him to release stress and pressure, and that he just became really good, and that after he won the gold medal, he said that he wanted to get his dog back from his wife. That was all false. It was false, and I feel sad about that because I thought that was a pretty cool story. But no, he didn't do that for his dog. Apparently, he has a cat, but I do like that how people took that meme and turned it into like the embodiment of cool and the embodiment of being chill. Like they had like the, I guess, Japanese or Asian with like all the eye gear on and the gun, and they had the other meme of the Turkish shooter being this guy killed. Like one that I saw was like a frequency band. This talking engineer talk here, EQ band, and like one was just a dip, which represented the Turkish shooter, and then like the other one was like all complicated, which is represented. It's just funny shit to me. I thought it was hilarious how the world will just grab onto a meme and just run with that shit. And there's plenty of things to meme in this Olympics, man. I'll tell you what. And once again, the fact that these athletes are just able to push themselves to the max, and we are able to witness that, is one of the most beautiful things in human existence. I hope the Olympics continue on forever and ever and ever and ever and ever. It's one of the dopest things ever that humans can do. With that said, they're having the Olympics next time, 2028 in LA, which is right up the pond for me. I was trying to talk to my wife if she wanted to go. She's like, maybe, but I'd rather go in a different country, which is fair. I understand that. But what they did to announce this, they brought out Tom motherfucking Cruise, and this motherfucker jumped off of the stadium in Paris, zip lined down into the stadium, ran over and grabbed the American flag, hopped on a motorcycle, drove the motorcycle across the city, got onto a fucking plane, obviously this is edited, flew the plane over to America, jumped out of the plane, of course, landed, then he mountain climbed up the fucking side of the fucking Hollywood sign, and then changed the Hollywood sign to the Olympic rings as he passed the flag on. It was actually pretty epic, man. like Tom Cruise, 60-year-old man at this point, still jumping off of buildings, still jumping out of planes, still climbing mountains. He's holding it down. It's inspiring, man. I'm 40. I sometimes feel like I'm over the hill, but then I see Tom Cruise do all that. I'm like, God damn. All right, maybe I should step it up a little bit, because this guy is clearly still running through fields carrying a flag and doing it, holding it down for his country. The Olympics next time will be very, very interesting because of the fact that, one, when it comes to breakdancing, they're not going to have breakdancing in the LA Olympics, which I thought was fucking insane, because it's like breakdancing is a American sport. If we're calling it a sport, breakdancing is an American sport, LA should have that. With that said, part of the reason why I believe that they didn't, I'm going to talk about breaking a little bit more here. When it comes to the breaking, I fuck with breakdancing being in the Olympics. The way they presented it, the way that they did it was beautiful. But there's no infrastructure underneath breaking to really build that into something that's viable. And what I mean by that, I mean like literal high school collegiate leagues or Pop Warner leagues, teams, stadiums, things like that. would really help establish a actual breakdancing sport and community. And obviously, I think that that's what everybody wants in terms of the breaking community and hip hop community. But it takes time, it takes money, it takes organization. The fact that they're even able to get it to the Olympics this time around is dope. And I understand why they wouldn't have it this next time, simply just because of the facts that I mentioned. With that said, I hope that it comes back, and I hope that we do start to see breaking battle leagues pop up around on a national level, like the NBA, the National Breaking Association, haha. And instead of the basketball guys, a dude doing a windmill, that would go hard, my guy. That would go hard, and I would love to see that, but it's not there yet. There's a lot of work that needs to be done there, and that's fine. Like, that's fine. But I guess LA, I don't have the whole list, but I know that they're adding baseball, I believe. I want to say they're adding football too. I might have to double check that. But the idea is that they're adding a bunch of American sports. Because I just learned that each country actually gets to choose 5 sports that represent their country as a part of the Olympics. I didn't know that till recently. So, fun facts. Anyways, all in all, Olympics were dope. They were lit. Probably the best Olympics I've ever seen. And I'm trying to recall Olympic that I saw better. Maybe Atlanta, 1996, I think that was lit. But otherwise, man, this is the best Olympics I've ever seen. And shout out to all the Olympic athletes. Shout out to everybody who made the Olympics happen. You Olympt. You got it on. You made it happen. It's popping. And I just want to make sure that this continues. I had no power over that. But I just know by talking about it, letting you all know that you should go watch the Olympics while they're still available. I think you can watch them on Peacock right now. That's another thing, is that they definitely locked down that content ID on the Olympics. If you post anything from the Olympics with any type of audio on any social media, you will probably get flagged 9 times out of 10. So be careful with that. They're trying to collect their bag. Obviously, the Olympics didn't do very well last time, so they got to do what they can to make up for it. Anyways, I'm done for now. I'll be back with more videos. Let me know what you guys think about the Olympics. What was your favorite competition? What was your favorite moment? Who was your favorite athlete? What was your least favorite athlete? I want to know. I want you guys to talk about it below. Fucking follow the page if you don't already. Subscribe. I love y'all. Stay safe. Peace.